The reserve is a strip of land 60 miles long, 10 to 15 miles across, and on it live about 3,000 Blood Indians. The Blood tribe is part of the Blackfoot Confederacy. Nowadays, when the Bloods travel, they have many different destinations and purposes. For the Blood Indians don't stick together as a tribe anymore. The young Bloods, in July, are usually heading out to take part in rodeos and stampedes. Their parents and grandparents have a different destination, the Sundance Camp, a place on the plain in the center of the reserve. The Bloods are fast taking over the ways of the white man, yet something remains of the ancient times. The Bloods have come to the Sundance Camp every summer for hundreds, perhaps thousands of years. But the old life is dying, and most of the Bloods don't even go to the camp now. The children don't know what it's about, and when they're grown up, they will forget that once at the camp they heard the dying echo of their people's history and saw things that soon will be no more. A young Blood, Pete Standing Alone, who doesn't really belong in the old order of things and isn't entirely at home in the new, speaks of what it is to live between two worlds.
My grandfather used to bring me here when I was a kid. It's the older people think it's important to come here. They were born in teepees, and they know what the signs mean. In my great-grandfather's time, there were still herds of antelope and buffalo on the plains. And every man was a hunter, and the tribe had thousands of horses. I remember when I was a kid, we used to have a lot of fun here. You were out of boarding school and nobody to tell you what to do. You could stay up and play as late as you wanted. I remember when it got hot, we used to run over to the Belly River and jump in the cold water up to our necks. But the camp isn't just a place to have fun. It's religious. And for a week they'll have ceremonies and dances like they have been doing for hundreds of years. There's only one other tribe besides us in Canada that still has a Sundance, the Blackfoot at Glacier. I've been away from all these things. I was in the States for 10 years, off and on. But I'm glad to be back on the reserve. This time of the year the grass turns brown in the sun. My folks still live here on the reserve. They keep a few head of cattle, cut bunch grass for hay in the summer, like most people do on the reserve. But the main thing I like about the reserve is there's a lot of space. When I'm home, I usually work with my brother-in-law, Dan Weaselfat. He's got a nice bunch of Herefords, about 60 head. Not much fancy stuff with a rope though. Dan doesn't like to run the fat off of his stock. Of course, if a cow gets porcupine quills in her nose, you've got to get them out. The cow would starve to death if you didn't. But there isn't much money in punching cows and breaking horses. When I got out of school about 15 years ago, I left the reserve. I headed south, and I've worked on the drilling rigs in Texas, Wyoming, Nebraska, North Dakota. One company is drilling for oil right here on the blood reserve. And if a roughneck gets sick, I can still take a turn on the rig. I got along fine with the fellas on the crew except for one guy. He used to call me Chief. I said to him, "My name is Pete. You call me Pete, not Chief." Sometimes I wonder what those fellas would say if they could see the sun dance. The Indian songs and dances seem pretty strange to a white man. Even the names of the dances sound strange. Owl dance, rabbit dance, prairie chicken dance.